Okay, it is 12:16, so I think we will go ahead and get started. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Alex Cottle. I'm your president nominee, filling in for President Amber today. Welcome to Rotary. We're happy you're here with us today. And we'll go ahead and start the meeting we always do, the same way we always do. So feel free to unmute yourself and join in with us on the four-way test of the things we think, say, or
Say
do.
or do.
Is it the
Is
truth?
it the truth?
Is it fair to all concerned?
Concerned?
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
Friendships?
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
concerned?
And is it fun?
And is it fun?
Thank you all. Do we have any guests or visiting Rotarians with us today? I don't think I see any. But of course, guests and prospective members are always welcome. Feel free to pass on the Zoom link to them anytime. We'd love to have them join us one week. And we'll go ahead and continue on with the prayer this week. And I believe Kelsey Dunham is going to lead us in prayer. Kelsey?
Thank you. You'll pray with me. Dear gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you on another cold and snowy day to say we are so blessed to see another day. We are so blessed to serve you. We are so grateful for each and every undeserved blessing you have given us. We pray for those who are suffering, losing their way, longing for comfort. We pray they find peace in you. We ask that you guide each one of us to be a light for you and lead us all as we choose to put service above self in all that we do. In your name I pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Kelsey. It's a great prayer. Okay. Lori Tuggle, our Sergeant at Arms, couldn't be with us today. So our trivia question is today, February 18th, is the National Observance of what? So feel free to unmute yourselves and shout out an answer.
It's National Drink Wine Day.
Ding, ding, ding. Dr. Tim Hobbs. All right. That's it. National Drink Wine Day, everybody. So cheers. Grab yourself a glass of wine later tonight. Tim, you don't owe your dollar, but everybody else does. So go ahead and tack it on to the other $75 fines that we owe for the year. And of course, that goes towards our Rotary scholarships to help support the work we do as a club. And it is Dr. Tim Hobbs Day after all. So we have a wonderful member spotlight this week. Dr. Tim Hobbs, he's been a member for a little over 16 years now. He's a past president of our club as well and a Paul Harris Fellow. So Dr. Tim, I'll pass it over to you so you can tell the club a little more about yourself and why you joined Rotary.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Hello, everybody. I'm Tim Hobbs. I'm the pastor at Community Baptist Church. And as Alex said, I've lived here in Henderson and served community for about 16 and a half years now. And it's hard to believe that they've let me stay that long. But I have to say that our church is one of the most accepting and loving and open congregations that I've ever known. I came here to Henderson from Atlanta. I'm a native Georgian, no dogs. I went to a very large / small college in Rome, Georgia. It's called Berry College. And the reason I say it's large and small is that the student population of Berry is only around 2,000 students, but it sits on the largest campus in the world and also one of the most beautiful. So let me encourage you to check it out online. I received my Master of Divinity from Southern Seminary in Louisville and my doctorate at Columbia Theological Seminary in Atlanta. I'm married 38 years to my college sweetheart, Susan. She's sitting right over there. She's my office mate now during COVID. She is a software developer for OneMain Financial in Evansville. We have 3 grown children. Molly works for Spectrum in Louisville and is jumping through the unending hoops to get her counseling license. Rachel is a registrar for the Blair School of Music at Vanderbilt, and Nathaniel is a second-year law student at Belmont University in Nashville. I became a member of Rotary about 2 months after I moved here to Henderson. And I knew a little bit about Rotary, but not enough to really know what Rotary was about. But one day, my friend Jerry Martin called me. He needed a ride. He asked me if I could give him a ride to Rotary. And I said, sure. And he said, you ought to stay for the program. I did. And honestly, at the time, I thought the singing was a little weird. It occurred to me that any organization whose motto was service above self was an organization that I could buy into. And so I jumped in, and I'm so grateful that I did. I'm so proud of everything that Rotary does, both internationally and locally. And I'm proud to have a little small part of that. So that's me in a nutshell.
Thank you, Tim. That's a great Rotary testimony there. So thank you for sharing that. And that's why we do the spotlights, is so we can get to know each other a little bit better and hear why we decided to become a Rotarian. So thank you very much for sharing. So this is our year of service, and for February, our month of service project is donating Valentine's cards to our local senior citizens. So give them a little cheer and a little love during this Valentine's season. So we're excited to do that, and we thank Rotarian Don Kelsey for helping to lead that effort. Do we have any other announcements or take fives? Okay. Hearing none and seeing none, we do have a reminder that our Rotary board meeting will be this Monday. It was rescheduled from earlier in the month. So this Monday, 7:30 a.m. at Zoom. So hope you can join us if you're on the board there. And we'll be going over a few important agenda items at that point. And I think that's all I have. So we will go ahead and start with our program. We're very excited to have our newest Rotarian, Amber Potts, leading the program today to talk about the wonderful things going on at Henderson County Public Library. We've all been excited to see their expansion unfold, and I'm sure we're all anxious to get inside the library and explore all the new parts of it. But we'll get to see it virtually today. And so, Amber, I'll go ahead and pass it over to you.
All right, so let me get my screen pulled up over here real quick. And then, oh, whoops. That wasn't supposed to happen. Okay, now can you guys see it? Should be looking at a beautiful library. So as you can see, this is the expanded part of the building. We opened this part for business in August. Thanks to COVID, we had a few delays, and we still have been experiencing a variety of delightful challenges and opportunities to do problem solving that have been fantastic. But I'm happy to say that the project is almost completely finished. The middle part of the building that's been closed for several weeks now, we are one furniture delivery away from being able to open. Hopefully it'll quit snowing. We've already had to reschedule the furniture delivery 3 times, but there's nothing in the forecast next week. So hopefully once we get that last furniture installed and then are able to set up and move into those spaces that didn't have furniture, we'll be good to go. But in the meantime, I'll just kind of start with out here. You can see the outside part, and then over here in this, have a little pointer thing. And this here is, set to be kind of a staging area so that we can have programs and things like that out there. I know that an idea that we were trying to make happen before COVID hit was doing a music series. It was something that was supposed to happen this, past fall, but then of course COVID happened, and it's looking like, it's going to be dicey for this year, but I know that's one of the first things that we want to do as far as a program goes out here on this patio area. Pittsburgh Tank and Tower was very generous. And one of the things that when we were doing the community survey, people wanted an event space somewhere, meeting room use is one of our highest uses of the library. There are several community organizations that we are their regular meeting spot. And then there's also lots of people and organizations that used our meeting rooms on a daily basis. And both meeting rooms we have were small. The most we could fit into, we could supposedly fit 75 people down in the meeting room that was the multipurpose room, but it was a very snug fit. Usually if we were going expecting any more than 30 some odd people, we would use the fellowship hall or the gym across the street. The church there has been very generous, allowing us to kind of use them as a library annex. But we now have a fantastic event suite that for the library programming, but also for the public to use. And this picture here is taken from the window of the event suite. There is a gorgeous view of the river. I'd kind of hope to get a picture of the sunset from this room, but on the days that I was wanting to take pictures, it was cloudy. But so this is the view from the event space. I've had a lot of people ask, why the meeting room spaces aren't available yet. This is the opposite view. This is looking into the room. We are required to quarantine our books right now because of COVID. And so this big, beautiful meeting space that we have been, so excited to reveal to the community right now holds a couple of days worth of returns at any given time. But I can show, these are the tables that come with the space. Our designer did a really good job. We wanted something that, should someone want to have something a little fancy, like maybe a reception or some kind of like awards banquet or something like that, there would be nice tables that people could use without having to necessarily come up with tablecloths and things like that. And then this is our patio that comes off of the meeting room. Again, it has that beautiful view over. It doesn't have furniture yet. That's one of the things they're waiting for spring to install, but we'll be able to, it's an extension. It can be accessed from the meeting room, or if the meeting room is in use, it can be accessed also from the art gallery. On the other side of this wall over here is an art gallery. We do have an exhibit up right now, and I did not want to violate copyright by taking pictures of the art that's hanging up right now, because I did not have the artist's permission to take a picture of that. So the art gallery will have to be a big in-person reveal the next time you guys stop by the library. Another thing the community said that they really wanted when we did the community service, the survey, was that they needed places to study. Again, a lot before this, if someone needed a study room, their options are pretty much to reserve one of our meeting rooms, which was a bit much if it was just one or two people needing to get together to study, and they were reserving the entire meeting room. They didn't necessarily quite need all that space. So we now have on the first floor of the new part of the building, we have 4 study rooms just like this one. It can hold 4. It's one of the spaces right now that's not open due to COVID because it is a small closed-in space. The furniture that you see right now is just for staging purposes for the picture. We don't have much furniture out in the actual library itself right now, because the COVID recommendations are that we do not have any kind of waiting areas or areas where people could potentially congregate, since spending, extended periods of time in close quarters is one of the, biggest ways that, COVID is transmitted. But I personally am really excited about these study rooms. I think we're going to get a lot of use out of them. And I can't wait for, the community to be able to, start to get to take advantage of this new feature the library has. This is the view of the new part of the building on the inside. I'm standing in front of the circulation desk, but you can see that the entire adult collection has moved into the new part of the building. We still have our displays and things like that. This balcony over here is the art gallery space, and then this over here is some meeting rooms. I am really happy. We're going to be getting some other display shelves soon, all part of the furniture thing, but you can see that it's a nice big space. We set it up so that we have line of sight from the circulation desk now. So someone can be standing at the desk, and if they look and they see someone who before we couldn't really see because the shelves were like this to the circulation desk. But now that they're like this to the circulation desk, we can actually see from the circulation desk whether it looks like someone might need help, whether they're kind of, doing the, looking around and looking at a piece of paper and looking around. So we think it's going to be more service oriented. That was one of the priorities for, having the shelves go that way. One of the things that was a really high priority, I want to point out why I kind of got a good view of it. One of the things that was a really big priority when we were picking a design firm was we wanted someone who could, there is 110-year age difference between the Carnegie part of the library and this new part that we just opened. But we didn't want it to necessarily feel like it was just two entirely different worlds. And so the firm that we picked, they made a really good, or they did a very good job of transitioning from that 116-year-old Carnegie building into the brand new building. Some of the ways that they did that is they used wood in the same way that wood is used throughout the Carnegie part of the building. It's kind of hard to see from this picture here, but like all the ceilings in the new part of the building echo the design pattern that's on the limestone part of the Carnegie building. And that limestone pattern is also reflected on the outside of the new part of the building. Just lots of little details to, make a very nice transition from the old part, the oldest part of the building to the newest part of the building. And I've just been, really pleased with how it does just kind of flow without, making it really seem jarring that you're in a 120-year-old building and then you're in a, year-old building. This here is, I'm showing this to you guys today because Rotary is helping sponsor. This is a 2-story art feature wall. We have been going through the process of selecting an artist, and a couple of weeks ago we had their proposals for the piece here. This is a piece by Henderson artist Kim Luttrell. You can't really tell from the picture, but it's 3-dimensional. Like this flower here kind of pops out, the bird sits out from it a little bit. This piece stand out from it a little bit. And it's just a really nice, the way my first thought whenever I was kind of looking at it, and the way I described it to my husband the night that, when I came home that night and I was telling him about it, I said, it's almost like walking through somebody's memories of Henderson, because you see things like the railroad bridge and some houses on Main Street and the corner of, I think this is the corner of 2nd and Main, along with other things. The theme that the artist was given was we were asked for them to present their idea of a modern Audubon. And so this is what Kim came up with. And then this is a glass piece by an artist from Owensboro named Brooks White. And he, proposed this, to make it kind of resemble the wetlands that Audubon would have gone through, but kind of take a more modern take on it with this abstract representation of the river. The colors and the glass pieces don't quite, translate well in this picture, but they are different shades of blue and green. And then of course, this is 2 blue herons silhouetted at night. I like this, how it kind of pulls the river, that's just half a block over into the space. So I'm really looking forward to the trustees getting to see the little mock-ups in place or in person next week. And I look forward to see with which one we end up going with as the decision's made. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Another thing that we have really wanted for pretty much the entire 20 years that I've been at the library is a space for the teens. We started out with a spot not much bigger than a closet, and we have slowly expanded. But one of the things that we got feedback that we got from a lot of the teens was before they had to walk through the children's department to get to the teen area. Also, the Kentucky Library Public Library Association has standards, and the size of our teen space based on our population was just way too small. So one of the things that was a priority for us was to give a nice big space for the teens, focusing on, how the teens will use the library. For all of you, that either work with teenagers or have had teenagers or have them right now, one of the biggest things for them is to have a space where they can sit and just kind of hang out, do Snapchats of their toes and send them to each other, even though they're sitting right next to each other. And so we wanted to kind of give them this really nice, warm, inviting place that they could just come and hang out. So we've got lots of soft seating, and we've got these booths and things like that where like study groups could meet, or we've got a charge bar over here, just so that they have a place. So many places that you might hang out, you have to buy something or like pay admission. So this would be somewhere that they could just come after school and hang out with their friends, and there would be no, all they have to do is just, hang out. They don't have to buy a Coke to be able to stay in. They don't have to pay admission. This blank wood wall here, one of our biggest programs at the library is our teen gaming club called Game On. And so this is where we'll be holding, there's going to be monitors here so that we can have our Game On program in the building. And also we have a movie license that allows us to do public showings of movies, and things like that as well. So we didn't completely get rid of the books in the teens area. Here's the teen area here. You can see the abandoned cart. The teen librarian that was working when I was taking these pictures realized I was taking pictures and is now was standing over here. But it gave us so much more space. We were having to keep the collection pretty well, really weeded and really limited because of the space. And this is going to allow us to really expand and grow our collection as well for those in the 12 to 18 age range. So really, really excited about that. And I just can't wait for the teenagers to see it. There were some kids in the journalism class at the high school that came out a few, maybe right before Christmas, to interview people at the library as part of an assignment. And so they got a little sneak peek of this space, and they were really excited to see it, and they couldn't wait to come back whenever it was finished and open. Next, we have our children's space, which has been expanded. We took where the space was already and then made it go all the way to what was the end part of the building. So we added some square footage. I know that some people may be looking at this and thinking, oh my goodness, where's the mural? We did not hurt the mural. The mural is still there. It is here in this room here, still intact. Iris is actually going to be touching it up a little bit here in a few weeks, but this room that you can see kind of over here to the corner is going to be our programming room. This is our new story time area. And this story time area is connected to a door. For those who are familiar with that beautiful mural that we have, there's always been a little painted door on it. And that was something that's really captured kids' imaginations. They would go up and knock on it, and they would just, really, something about it. Well, that's now actually a door. So when people go from, like when they're having story time, after they hear the stories and things like that, and it's time to go make their craft or do a story, or have a snack or something, they will go through that door. So they'll be coming through the door in the mural to the craft and programming room. One of the big, really cool features, though, that we were able to, a bigger programming space, more shelving room, but we also were able to install this beautiful tree. This tree is something we wanted a little, something to kind of, again, bring nature into the building, make a connection to like our Ottoman connection. I don't know how many of you are familiar with our owl that we have named Hootie Hoo, but this is going to be a Hootie's Hangout here. And so he's going to have a place to see. You can also see that we've got some seatings. We've got some cute little cubbies for kids to, curl up in and read. So I really can't wait for the last, couple of finishing touches to be put in the children's department so that everyone can see this in person. If nothing else, just to see the tree, because it's really cool. They did a really good job capturing the, texture of the bark and everything. So it's a really, really neat feature. In the area that was about where the circulation desk used to be, we now have a community learning lab. This is different, or will be separate from the typical, our usual public service computer lab. This is a, sorry, excuse me, needing to get rid of a tickle in my throat. This is going to be, this community learning lab, it's going to be where we have all of our computer classes and technology classes that we have going on, led by our new technology instructor, Jared Hayden. But this is also something, one of the things that we had a lot of people asking to do prior to our expansion that we'd not been able to accommodate was people wanted to book our computer lab. Like the Pennyroyal Youth Soccer Association, they have people come down and register on the computers. Maybe a real estate office needed to do a training and they needed everyone to be able to see the same computer. So this is going to be a computer lab that people from the public will be able to book for training, for classes, and then just kind of have a collaboration afterwards. This wall is actually whiteboard paint, so people can write on it in dry erase marker. It's got a little bit of a texture, so I'm feeling a little nervous about that. The designers promised me that it works, but I've been kind of hesitant to try it out. But this is just supposed to kind of be like a think tank area and a training area for the entire community. And this is our new Friends of the Library reading room. I need you guys to all close your eyes for just a second and picture here around this, it's not a real fireplace, but here around this fireplace, 4 big, beautiful wingback chairs and some other little small seating, and then a nice long table where people can get together and read. And that's what we're going to have when we're allowed to have furniture and seating areas, whenever it's really a good idea for us to have that kind of gathering place again. This is probably one of my favorite places. I love the floor. I love how cozy it feels. And this will also offer vending once the pandemic is over, because that was another thing that we had frequent requests for. Was a lot of libraries have put in like coffee shops and cafes. We opted to not quite go that route because then that brings in whole new licenses and things like that. But we figured we could compromise and offer vending so that if someone needs something to drink or a little bit of a snack, they can go to the vending machines for that. All right, so those are kind of all the things that I have pictures for right now, but there are a few other things that I kind of wanted to let you guys know about because they're going to be really spectacular when they're ready. The first thing is our makerspace. That is something that we, I don't know if you're familiar, but basically it's a place that's set up with different kind of equipment that you can make things with. And ours is going to be equipped with 2 3D printers, a vinyl printer, and a laser engraver, as well as some smaller like low-tech things like a button maker. We have one of those die cutters where you take for like bulletin boards, where you can take a die, roll it through this hand cranked machine, and it cuts out little shapes and things like that. But the makerspace right now is just an empty room because we're still working on getting the equipment and everything in there. And the makerspace also contains a sound booth. So that can we have a lot of ideas for how that's going to be used. Some of it will be for collecting oral histories, but of course it will be available to the public as well. So if you've always wanted to do a podcast, or something like that, you'll be able to book that audio sound booth and do something like that. The Next thing that's on there is the computer lab. We do have, like I said, a computer lab that's separate. That'll be our public computer lab access, and that's going to be going in a little corridor. The furniture for the computer lab is one of the things that we are expecting in the delivery next week. So I would have taken a picture of an empty, corridor space, but that's going to go in what was the adult department. A lot of things that were added to the, that we really needed, I've been showing you the things that the community asked for, but the staff really had a lot of things that we wanted and needed as well. We needed more like workspaces that were, if we had time off desk to work on a program or work on a project, somewhere where we could go and have a little privacy, to work on that. And we had people doubled and tripled up in offices. Actually, we had 4 people sharing an office, one of the spaces. So we wanted to see more office space. And then we did not have a lot of storage space. So like the children's department got their own storage, and the maker space is going to have its own storage. So we have a lot more storage space for the library employees now for our thing, not just like our office supplies and things like that, but for example, the children's department has a whole lot of things for their different programming. And so they have a place to be able to safely store all of that stuff now. I don't know if you guys heard, that was my cat Cecil telling everybody hi. I don't know if he's a really loud meower. Anyway, and then the last thing I wanted to touch on, it's not exactly part of the renovation project, but we're able to do it as part, because of the renovation project. You may be familiar that the Historical Society of Henderson County disbanded at the end of this past year, and the library is taking on their collection has been transferred to the library. And so we have been working on the upstairs part of the Carnegie building, and we haven't really changed anything because we have been working really hard over the past, 15, 20 years to restore that part. So we definitely didn't want to do anything to renovate it much. But instead we've been working to bring some archive quality lighting, some UV film on some of the windows, so it's more of an archive space so that we can work towards preserving some of these, the books and artifacts that we already had, but also some of the books and artifacts that we have inherited from the Henderson Historical Society. And that's all I have. So if anybody has any questions, I'll be more than happy to take them right now.
Does anybody have any questions?
I don't have a question, but I have a comment.
Sure.
This is absolutely wonderful for our community. And thank you and the trustees of the library for doing this. It's just beautiful.
Okay, thank you. We can't wait. That's been, of course, there's been a lot of things about the pandemic, but just the anticipation building is like, we can't wait for everyone to see it. We can't wait for everyone to get to use it. So I'm so glad the vaccine's here, because now we can have everyone get to experience what we've been planning for years for them.
Amber, do you have your prices set for the room rental and all that kind of thing?
Yes, we're working on that right now. As always, the nonprofit use, like if a community organization wants to use it, if you're wanting to do something informational, anything that could contribute like nonprofit use is still going to be free. And the trustees, we actually have discussed it the past 2 meetings, and for-profit use. So things like if someone wanted to have an awards banquet or a reception or something like that, then we would be asking for a $250 use fee for the project. But anytime we deliberately built the building, that space, so that it can even be used after hours, because the way that the designers created the building, we're able to like lock up the library part of the building, and that people can have those events and things like that up in the event space and art room afterwards. But that's not officially yet. The trustees still have to vote on and approve, but that is what we have discussed and kind of is going into the meeting room policy.
Any other questions or comments for Amber? Yeah.
Amber,
Julie?
what did you say the capacity was for the event space?
Well, it actually can be subdivided into 3 different rooms or one giant room. I want to say that without tables, the capacity is 150. But I can't remember off the top of my head what the capacity is with like the tables and chairs, but I'd be more than happy to find that out and get back with you. And then the room can also be subdivided into 3 or 2 smaller rooms. And so that of course would affect the capacity as well, but I'll be more than happy to find out for sure and let you know.
Thank
Do
you.
there happen, one quick question
Sure.
as well. Do there happen to be rooms outside of the event room if you need like a breakout meeting space? Or is it all one? big
Well,
room?
we have this meeting rooms, or I'm sorry, the study rooms that are can hold up to 4 people. And then we still have in the Carnegie part of the building, we still have the boardroom there. And that is will still be available for public use and for public. And that holds, has 2 big board tables, and it holds comfortably about 10 or 12 people in that space.
Okay, I am currently looking for a place to have depositions with about 30 people over the course of a few days, and they're all going to want their own space to be able to leave with their people during the middle of the day. So
Okay.
that's kind of a chore at the moment. The current idea is to go to a hotel and everyone rents a separate room to go to with their person and use a conference room, which seems a little unnecessary for a place we're not going to stay.
Right. Well, right now, like you saw the space or the conditions the meeting rooms are in right now. So if it's something that is going to be happening a little bit on down the road, like maybe this summer, it could definitely be something. It sounds like that we could accommodate between the, dividing up the rooms and, the study rooms and the things like that. But if it's something probably before the summer and before some of the restrictions are rolled back, it would be something to keep in mind for a future instance for something like that.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Just delighted with all this, Amber. This is it's going to be wonderful.
Thank you.
Amen. Any other questions or comments?
Amber, this is Jason Warren over at HCC, and congratulations. And libraries have a special place in my heart. I was 8 years in the university library system at the University of Louisville before my 24 years at Hopkinsville Community College, but just excited for you. And if there's anything that HCC can do to support you all, and if there's any programming you think we ought to be bringing to the area, or any way we can partner with you and support you, we want to do that. So congratulations again. It looks awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Amber. It's a great program, and we're so excited to see the new edition and everything when it's back open. Yeah, we'll give you a virtual round of applause here. So, and thank you for joining our Rotary Club. We're very happy to have you as our newest member. So hopefully we can have a Rotary meeting in person there sometime later this year in the
Absolutely.
expanded wing. So thank you for all your hard work, and our library definitely is a community treasure. So
Thank you.
and if there's no other questions or comments, then we will end the meeting in the same way we began. So feel free to unmute, and we'll say the 4-way test together. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth?
The truth.
Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And is it fun? All right. Thank you all very much. Have a great week. Stay safe. Stay warm.
Thanks, Alex.
Bye, everybody.